All right, Trish mentioned the political aspect of this, and that's really where the country is headed. President Biden today had his lowest approval numbers in history. There is now a 20-point spread between those who approve and those who disapprove of the President of the United States. Republicans hope to turn the summer of nothing working into the fall of midterm election success in an ordinary election year that puts blue states like Colorado in play for a Republican Senate pickup. Moderate Joe O'Dea beat out election denier and January 6 enthusiast Ron Hanks to now be the Republican nominee in Colorado, and he is with us now. Mr. O'Dea, appreciate it. Congratulations. How much of Colorado even being in play has to do with the economy?
Look, it's totally about the economy. I go around the state here. Thanks for having me on, Leland. I appreciate being here. But I've been around the state to about 60 counties out of 64. And the number one thing people are talking about is putting money in the gas tank, putting money in their food bill. You know, it's the additional cost. It's 8.5% inflation here. And believe me, they're not blaming Putin. They're talking about this administration and what it's done to our economy. And that's the number one thing I'm hearing about.
Yeah, well, it's the number one thing that everybody tells pollsters as well. Glad to have you and always happy to have anybody on from Colorado. My 3 years there were absolutely phenomenal. Spent some time traveling around the state for politics. I think about the voters there. There's so many Republican voters who've got to just be absolutely thrilled with the past 10 days and how the Supreme Court's remade America. Two big religious freedom cases. Obviously, you've got the overturn of abortion. You've got concealed carry is now effectively a constitutional right. You have the case today from the Supreme Court that basically rolls back a huge number of powers of the executive branch. These are huge wins. And then I think about Colorado Springs, deep red, focus on the family is founded there. How do you turn out Republican voters and get them enthusiastic about a man who's not universally pro-life?
Well, you know, if you look at any candidate, I don't agree with them 100% of the time. But if they look at my stance on everything else, we're 95% there. And I'm going to make a big difference. If you look at what Bennett would do in the with Schumer's bill, which is pretty reckless, same one we've got here with that Polis has approved, late-term abortion up to and including in the birth canal, you know, that's just reckless. I'm going to peel that back. I'm going to make sure we put some common sense into the Senate. I'm going to make sure that, you know, we represent all of Colorado. And it's really about Colorado. It's about inflation. It's about gas. It's about all those other issues. That's just one. But there's a lot that we're aligned on. And so I'm super excited to be representing Colorado, be a voice for working Americans. We've got the odds against us right now. When you look at the cost of everything.
Due respect, though, I know you got the odds against you in the head-to-head matchup, but the poll we just had up has President Biden at 42%, Michael Bennett, sort of reliable backbench blue Democratic senator from Colorado. He certainly supported the president, be tied closely to the president. Why would you say at a time when the president's so unfavorably viewed in Colorado that you'd be the underdog?
Well, no, I'm not saying I'm the underdog. Those are somebody's numbers. We've got polling numbers that show we're neck and neck with an average Republican, has been all summer or has been all spring. I'm super excited. I'm telling you right now, when you put who I am, born here, raised here in Colorado, came from nothing, started a business that employs 300 families here in Colorado. I'm a working guy. I know what it's like to have to put, food on the table. And that's what people want to see. I'm completely different than Bennett, who's detached from what's going on here in Colorado.
Yeah, well, it would not be hard to be more attached to Colorado and what's going on there than Michael Bennett, at least from my time covering him all the way back from when he was part of the school system in Denver. But I digress. To you and your race in the primary, you tacked hard to the center. You were a moderate Republican. Democrats, in fact, actually tried to get your opponent, a MAGA firebrand election denier, to be the nominee because they thought it would be easier for Michael Bennett to beat him than to beat you. The polling proves that. But again, there's a lot of Colorado voters who are dark red MAGA supporters. And Colorado is really split. There's not a lot of vote in the middle. How do you motivate that far right base who does believe that there are election issues, as you do not, to come out?
Well, look, I'm going to do what's right for Colorado. That means appointing conservative judges. That means being fiscally conservative. That means making sure that we cut back on the red tape, that we strive for a smaller, more efficient government. That's what's important to my Republican base. They want a smaller government. They want their individual rights. And I'm all about that. But we also got to remember that 45% of the electorate here in Colorado is independent. And a lot of those people are looking for direction from somebody who's not super far right. And I'm going to motivate all of them. I'm going to be the most conservative guy on the ticket. And we're going to make sure we win here in November.
I would hasten to add that I interviewed somebody quite similar to you a little less than a year ago. His name was Glenn Youngkin in Virginia. A lot of the very same traits between the two of you. I know you hope that is a good harbinger of things to come. Mr. O'Dea, we appreciate you being with us. Come back as the race continues, sir. Oh,
we will. And thanks for having me on, Leland. And looking forward to a big win here in November.
Well, we'll talk before then. Thank you, sir. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.